Hello everyone, it's Mateen here from DCLblogger.com in another weekly Decentraland land market analysis video. So in this video we're going to cover a few things. Again, I'm going to try and make it short, which is pretty much what I say every video, but at the end of the day they end up going for 20 minutes and beyond. But you know what, I'm just going to keep trying. So in this video, guys, let's kind of take a look at the correlation between the crypto market in general and land sales in general. Okay, now it makes sense where when mana coin is worth less. So for a long period of time, like the mana token has been fluctuating between, I'd say, somewhere between, where are we right now? We're about 6 cents. So for a long time, we were actually fluctuating somewhere between 6 to about 10 cents for the last, I'd say, few months. And we've had some steady sales. So if you look at the mydcl.com sales history graph over here, which is a really cool, useful tool just to see the momentum of what's going on with the marketplace. And I've kind of showed it. I'm kind of looking at the latter stages of the graph, which is September onwards, which is where we've seen the most activity. I'm going to show you guys a really interesting correlation. Okay, now check this out. So this is the BTC to USD map graph, and we know that somewhere in November, so mid-November, we had that massive crash or downswing, whatever you want to call it. We dropped about $500 in value within about a day or two, and then in the next few days, we've continued to lose value to about 4,000 USD. So we've lost a good $2,500 from the Bitcoin dollar value, right? Which is quite a lot, like from 6,500 to 2,500 to 4,000 USD. That's about 30 to 40% drop. That's huge for Bitcoin. You can only imagine what that's going to do to the altcoins that depend on Bitcoin trading pairs. So what I'm trying to get at, right? So this happened sometime in mid-November. Okay, so keep that in mind. In mid-November, it started to downtrend. Now check this out. So we have in mid-November, let's check out how this affected the market. So mid-November is about here. Okay, you can see that everything started to downtrend. Especially, let's look at sales amount. So these are the amount of kind of mana transacted in that day. So we got 15th November, and look at this, like it's slowly gone down and more down, right? And yes, there isn't that many points to kind of consider here. We need a bit more data to see the correlation, but it's pretty clear. Like some of these days we've had almost close to zero transactional volume, which only 3 or 4 land sales for that day. We kind of see parcel count. Let's see how many parcels sold. So let's go back to mid-November over here. And yeah, you can see apart from these two big days, we've had mostly pretty average to low count days. Like look at this one over here, 4 parcels sold. Last time we had that was all the way in August. So we're breaking records for like the lowest parcels sold in the day. So what I'm trying to get at is like the dollar values of cryptocurrencies at the moment, they're like ridiculously low, right? For example, Bitcoin at $4,200. We have Ethereum, which actually fell below $100. Today is a good day, but if we were doing this video like yesterday or the day before, like we would be looking at some really low numbers. We've got Litecoin almost close to $30. We've got, where's Neo? Neo is like way lower than $10. I mean, it reached, I think, in the $6.50 range before. But what I'm trying to say is that these prices are indicative of the confidence in the market, and that's how I've always seen it. And it's the market confidence plays out through all markets. Okay, whether it's cryptocurrency or the land market, even though things are ridiculously cheap, the confidence in that project or the factors surrounding the future of those projects is unclear, so people hesitate to put money in no matter how cheap it is. Even if Neo reached $3 to $4, the reason why it's so low is because people aren't willing to spend more to buy Neo. And I'm sure when Neo was about $100 or $200, if one of your friends came up to you and was like, hey man, I can get you Neo but under $50, you'd be like, yeah man, get me like, I don't know, 1,000 pieces, because the market confidence around that coin is very high. And that's what is resembled, but that's what the price resembles at that time. But now, even if someone was like, hey man, I can get you Neo under $50, you'd be like, hell no, because the market confidence is way low, right? It's just interesting how the mind works. it all kind of works on the confidence of the market. But what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to correlate and see the similarities between the cryptocurrency economy or the market factors and the Decentraland marketplace economy. Because the Decentraland economy is really new. You have to consider, like, we do not know what's going to happen when market loses confidence. We don't know when Bitcoin goes down or up, when the mana token goes down or up significantly, how that affects the marketplace. There's so many factors at play. And another one just opened up to me, obviously discussing this with you guys. Like, I always thought when mana token reached low points, like when it was 6 cents to 5 cents, I always thought that you would see a lot more land sales. Like, it only makes sense, right? Because now people can afford these parcels for a lot more. Like, they can afford these parcels for, previously, if like 10,000 mana used to be $1,000 when mana was 10 cents a coin, but if mana goes to 5 cents, like somewhere around this time, then lands would be $500 in fiat. So for me, it made sense that people would be more willing to buy land because it's just cheaper in terms of fiat. But the thing that I didn't consider was market confidence, because even though they're cheaper, the token is cheaper, the confidence in the market is low, because that's just the cryptocurrency scene at the moment is like that. So anyway, there's a lot of talking at the start, but it's interesting to see how it all comes to be. And like, for me personally, my investment strategy has always been to diversify. Especially with Decentraland, just because it's such an unknown territory. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, land is so awesome sometimes, like it spikes up in value. The mana token sometimes spikes up in value, they go down in value. Different things affect them both differently. It's just better to be, for me personally, in my opinion, it's better to be well diversified between the two assets. Alright guys, let's kind of get towards close towards the topic of the video, which is the best land deals in Decentraland. Let's kind of go through the last let's say 7 days worth of activity and see what were some really good deals made with Decentraland. Past 24 hours, we've only had about 10 lands sold, which is quite a low number. Usually this is about 20 to 30, but you know what, that's not too bad considering we've had some 4 land a day sales. But yeah, let's check it out. Mind you guys, like, what is cheap at the moment might not be the case 1 week down the track, one or 2 months down the track, because there's an auction coming up, right? And it makes sense. A lot of people are holding on to their mana because they want to participate in the auction. They might get lucky with some deals. So why would you spend now on some jacked up prices when you can potentially get land for, who knows, maybe 3,000 to 4,000 mana, way cheaper than what it is now, which is another reason why land sales have kind of been quite stagnant. But the good news is, like, people are still spending decent amount of money on land, even though the volume has decreased. Like, there are some people that are still buying estates. So let's check out estates. 13 estates sold in the last week. We've had some over 100,000 mana, 200,000 mana almost. And 200,000 mana isn't cheap, guys. That's $10,000 plus. Okay, that's a lot of money. Yes, it's not in the hundreds of thousands, but it's a lot of money. $23,000, 10 days ago. I think that was mine. But yeah, let's go back to the topic of the video. Let's go to individual sales for now. Let's kind of figure out some good deals, okay? And there were definitely some good deals, guys, over the last 7 days. The good thing is I don't have to go through many lands. 14,900 mana. Oh, another thing is a really good thing to do at the start, especially when you're doing like a health check. You go to the marketplace, you order things from the cheapest. Okay, let's check out the cheapest. Another thing to note, guys, is that the cheapest parcel, like about a month ago, was about 7,000 mana. So obviously the floor has increased slowly and steadily. But also, I remember that the next target for me, after crossing 10,000 mana as the bottom, was 15,000 mana. So what I used to do always was kind of figure out where the 15,000 mana tipping point was, and that's always been on the 5th page. But I remember going to the 5th page and it was somewhere right down the end. But it's really cool to see that literally one more land sold on the 5th page means that we will now be on the 4th page to be in the 15,000 mana range. But all of these are pretty much 15,000 mana anyway. So like, it's really just the first 2 or 3 pages which are quite low. I'd say the first 2 pages, But if the first page gets bought out in the next week or two, then like the cheapest land you could probably get is about 12,000 mana. Okay, depending on what they sell at the auction price. So it's just always a really cool health check just to see what the cheapest price are at the moment. A lot of I kind of feel good when any land between 9,000 and 15,000 mana gets sold, because that just means that it's going to keep increasing this lower bottom slowly and steadily, which is how the land market works generally. Okay, so what do we have here? We have the lowest parcel is about 10,000 mana. Okay, lowest parcel is about 10,000 mana. Parcels close to any form of districts seem to be the lowest, being about 13,000 mana. I've seen it for currently on the market, and we'll go on that a bit later. But at the moment, this one sold for 15,000 mana. This one sold for 19,000 mana. I think the person made them into an estate, so combine the two to build them into an estate. It's an average price, is nothing spectacular. This one was the cheapest parcel at the time, sold for 9,000 mana. It's really good to see that one go on. I kind of hate these really edge parcels right on the edge, because they're so undesirable. Sometimes they just stay on the marketplace for ages, kind of lowering the bottom way too much. This one was a road parcel that sold pretty close to a Genesis Plaza. It's only like 10 spots away, connected to a road. Pretty good buy, to be honest. 17,500 mana. You can see a whole 8 months ago it sold for 13,900 mana. So there is any like closer to Genesis Plazas connected to road networks, they seem to get a bit more traction. They get a bit more like price value. 18,000 mana. So I'm trying to figure out what the land market is for single road parcels. Here we go. It's like, it's close to the 17 to 18,000 mana mark. This one was sold for 10,800 mana. I was looking at this yesterday and I was thinking about buying it. It's only 5 spots away from Genesis Plaza. You could probably sell it again for about 12 to 13,000 mana. These ones were sold and made into an estate. 13,800 mana, not too bad. Let's try and look for good deals though, okay? Let's not get distracted by anything normal. This one was sold for 13,000 mana. Not too bad, because this area over here, in between Battlegrounds, Crypto Valley, etc., China, Dragon City and all that, is seemingly getting less and less. Like, people aren't selling much land here anymore. 15,000, 18,000 mana. What do we have, guys? Anything really, really awesome? 15,000, 16,000 mana each. It's pretty close to Genesis Plaza. The center one, only 27 spots away from the center. This one was a really good buy. This one was a really, really, really good buy. Only one parcel away from a Genesis Plaza, sold for 10,000 mana. So why would that be a good buy, guys? Obviously because 10,000 mana is like one of the lowest, cheapest parcels you can get, right? It's right at the bottom end of the marketplace, as we've seen from ordering these to the cheapest. Like 10,000 mana is really close to the bottom, and it's only one parcel away from Genesis Plaza. So there's definitely profit to be made there. I think if he wants to sell that for about 15 to 20,000, he probably can pretty quickly. So that was a good buy. These normal prices, nothing special about these prices. Nothing special about these prices. You can see again on the outskirts, 9,500. This one was quite expensive for this one on the outskirts. That was quite surprising. What else do we have, guys? Nothing that special. All right, let's go to page 2. Whoa, we're already 5 days in. Maybe we'll have better luck with some estates. Alright, well, there was this one sold for 200,000 mana. One of the best parcels, one of the best lands in the Decentraland. 200,000 mana. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Like, if momentum picks up a bit more, then that should sell for more. But the one underneath that, oh no, wait, I think there was the one on top of that sold for 100,000 mana about a week ago. Like, if you scroll down, we might find it. Here we go. 100,000 mana. But that was a freak buy, to be honest. Okay. This one sold for 77,500 mana, so one connected to a Genesis Plaza. It's cool to see that the bottom for Genesis Plaza land seems to be about 70,000 mana, which I sold 2 Genesis Plaza lands about 3 months ago for 50,000 mana, and they had been listed for 50,000 mana for ages, right? They'd been listed for 60,000 mana for like over a month or two. So it's just interesting to see, like, sometimes holding is just a better strategy. This one sold for 39,900 mana. Nothing special about the price. Not that many good deals. Some really good deals, but pretty average. This one was 27,000 mana for something close to like the center. I always say that this quadrant over here on the top left of the center is always like anything connected to the roads there. If you can get them between 25 and 30, it's a decent deal. Anything under 25 is a steal. 6 days in, 22,000. Seems to be like single road network land seem to be between 18 and 20,000. That's 16 and 20,000 mana. What else do we have, guys? 12,999 again. There we go. We're on the 7-day mark. So we picked out a couple. There were a couple of really good deals, but mind you guys, like these good deals get picked up really quick. Okay, let's quickly go through the estates. So the 13, the last estates. Here we go. So one parcel away from the land, Genesis Plaza. 5 of these sold for 80,000 mana. So what is that, about 16,000 mana a land? 16,000 times 5, yeah, it's about 16,000 mana per land. Only one spot away from Genesis. I can see them going for about 20,000 once market does pick up. These two lands. Wait, maybe this is a better thing. Estates seem to be a bit harder to sell just because people aren't confident enough putting 50,000 or 100,000 mana plus into estates. So there's not that many of them. This one was sold for 67,500 mana. 5 of these pieces, and these were sold individually for about 16,000 mana. So it was flipped from 67,500 to 80,000 mana. Pretty cool. 13,000 mana flip. I think it was sold within a day or two. These were mine, sold for about 35,000 mana each. So what's that? 17,500 mana a parcel. This one was 11 parcels sold connected to Fashion Street. Pretty cool. This one was a pretty cool flip. The guy bought it for 81,000, sold it for 129. What's that? That's about 50,000 mana, 2,800 USD in profit. Pretty cool buy and sell. I think he kind of got lucky a bit with the sell because 130,000 divided by 6. What is that? That's more than 20,000 mana a land. That's about 22. Maybe, yeah, 22,000, 21,800 mana per land in this pocket. Yeah, that's a pretty good sell, to be honest. Nothing else. We're 6 days in, 4 lands for 58,000 mana. Anything interesting? Okay, this was just a glitch. We're gonna ignore that. Okay, so we're past the 7-day mark. All right, some decent deals. But the fact of the matter is, guys, like at the moment, everyone's kind of just holding out for the auction, which is going to be in the 2nd week of December. The 2nd week of December, I think, will be on like maybe the 8th onwards, because like the first week would be the first 7 days, right? Wait, that makes sense to me. The first 7 days is the first week, and the 2nd week starts from the 8th onwards. I don't know when it starts, from Monday to Saturday. Like I haven't actually checked the dates or the days on those dates, but it'll be interesting to see. The 2nd or 3rd week of December, I guess. We should see the auction start, and a lot of the activity will probably happen in the second week of the auction, which might be Christmas week. Who knows? Could be raining virtual lands for Christmas. All right, so those were the lands sold that were decent to good deals. If you guys haven't checked out this kind of graph, it's really cool to see the momentum of just land market, like how the Decentraland land market has worked. And we can see like sometimes, keep correlating these with different times of the crypto market kind of downswings and upswings. So if you go to CoinMarketCap and you click, Bitcoin, and you kind of go through the graph and you match them up with how that's affected the market, it's really interesting just to see how the market works, just so you can better prepare yourself, right? So you can kind of compare it to this bit over here, this zone over here, which is like somewhere over here. And kind of figure, I might do that later on in the video, once I end this video. But alright guys, let's kind of go through some really good deals currently on the marketplace. There's not that many good deals on the marketplace, to be honest. I've kind of ordered these from the cheapest land road connected parcels. Again, this is my-dcl.com. See, the cheapest lands connected to roads seem to be about 15,000 mana for single ones. Isn't too bad. You can get these on the far outskirts for a little bit more expensive. But these two are pretty decent deals. I don't think you'll see many lands connected to roads sell for under 15,000 mana anymore, even though the cheapest lands seem to be about 10,000 mana. And it used to not be that much of a difference between road connected parcels and general parcels, but like now road connected parcels have kind of sped away in terms of price values, just because there's so little of them, right? There's, compared to roads, lands connected to nothing and lands connected to roads, the ratio is like, I don't know, 1 to 10 or something. There's way less supply of roads, lands connected to road parcels. But the ones for sale, they seem to be somewhere between 15,000 and 17,000 mana. You can pick up quite a few road parcels. So I think these two are pretty decent buys for the price. These two and maybe this one. In terms of anything else within the Decentraland map, if you were to just check out the atlas, it's really up for people's interpretation as to what cheap is. I think this one is a pretty decent buy, but because it's in a massive estate, it's just hard to get the money to buy it, right? So 56 lands is about 15,000 mana a land, and it's surrounded by roads, so it's a pretty good buy. But like at 15,000 mana a land, but it's just the fact that it's it's a really bad time to kind of sell estates in the market. Like I've been sitting on my estates for ages, and they're priced quite decent as well. But for 850,000 mana, you can see you can buy this one, or you can buy this one. This one, oh no, not that one. Sorry, this one for 1,000,000 mana, which isn't too far away from that, but it's a bit closer, and it shows you in comparison. Like I thought this was pretty decent price at 30,000 mana a piece, a 32 piece estate, but this one's pretty good too, and like technically they're all connected to road, right? That's probably the biggest estate that's of best value. This one's pretty good. This one's mine, obviously, and I used to have it priced at 400,000 mana, so 20,000 mana a piece between these districts. But it's not that cheap. It's not good for a flip. It's more better for a developer to come and buy and actually build on it. I think there's another one here that is for sale. I think this one over here. One of these were 12,000. So this one's 12,999 mana. Like I said, like lands in this area is getting cheap. It's getting harder and harder to find. So if the market picks back up and people purchase the lands over here, like there's not going to be much lands to kind of buy in this area if you want to set up shop. This is kind of like a tech area, and I'm noticing a lot of these lands are kind of being bought out and held on. Like the market was a lot more, like there were way more lands for sale back in the day. So that one's a pretty decent deal. I think at 12,900 mana, it would have been good for the person that bought this one like one day ago to just buy all four of these, right? This one is 15,000, 20,000, 13. So that's an average price of about 15,000 mana a piece, and you can make a estate of 4 for about 60,000 mana. And the next cheapest estate of 4 is my one at 90,000. Then you got 100,000, which is also my one. Then there's this one here at 110,000 mana. So not that many estates of 4 that are that cheap. So the person that bought that, it would have been a really good idea for him to buy the 3 next to it. We'll see what he does. But I do know that people have been looking for estates in this for a decent price. If the market does pick up again, we should see a lot of these lands sell. So there's that one there for 12,999. There's that big estate down there. Not that many really good lands for sale on the market, guys, at the moment. I think instead of calling out more lands, I'm just going to wait for the auction, because I think that's where we're going to get some really good deals. I don't really know what my investment strategy is, to be honest, but there's no lands at the moment that I want 100%. I'm just going to be waiting it out to see what lands go for. If I can get some really, really cheap, maybe in the latter stages of the auction, I will jump on them. I do have a pretty decent mana reserve at the moment, just ready to kind of buy some land if I can get some good ones. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to be releasing another one going through just the updates of Decentraland over the week, maybe sometime on Friday or Saturday. There hasn't really been that many updates, to be honest. Anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.